Hey all, in this video I'll be explaining you the calculator module, this one. So if I click here and if I click on the fake wallpaper thing, you see a fake wallpaper coming up. Now if I go to the performance settings of this wallpaper, I have set target number. This will be 0 by default, but I have set my date of birth. You can set your spectator's date of birth or whatever force number you want to add in. Now in send value, it's target minus current. So current is something in your phone and target is this, and the minus subtraction of it gets sent to here, okay, so that you can add these two numbers and then predict it, that you already knew that you are going to type this, and I have typed this already. So if you add this, that will be the total. So store as, put this as send number, not send expression. If it's send expression by default, just change it to send number. Okay. Now run routine, don't disturb that, it's a default calculator one. Trigger by display volume watch, make sure all of them are on. Okay. Copy to clipboard, if you want to use you can use, if you don't want to just put it off. Simply send, I'll explain you, and I'll explain you this force mode as well now. This is a backup, okay, this is a backup. So now if you do 96 multiplied by 36, give the phone to spectator and he does random calculations. So random calculations. Once he's done, you have multiple ways of sending, not this is the current number, and you will send target minus current. I'll trigger via my watch, so it gets triggered, and here you see these values in their phone. Now you add, when you add this one in their phone, it's my birthday. Okay. So let me tell you how you can use this routine. So you take the phone, you connect to Bluetooth, and you tell them you have some numbers written in their calculator. Now since I'll just clear this off, I'll just do random thing and just clear it off. Okay. Now I'll give them my phone and I'll tell them, okay, do one thing, do random calculations and make sure they are right. Okay. So +2 everything. Now once they do the random calculation, you can either press volume button, or you can trigger via watch, or you can trigger via long press of this. Okay. So you ask them, okay, have you completed your calculation? They are like, yes, we are done. And if you don't have volume or watch, if you don't want to, you can just long press. You will see a dot here only when force mode is enabled, and you will also feel vibration, and then here in spectator's phone, the reminder of this plus this adds to my target number. Okay. Now basically you tell them, okay, what are the chances that I already predicted 695 in your calculator, and when they open, it's not 695, it's 15081,303, which is like, oh, you failed. But you tell, oh, interesting, can you add these two numbers? And when they add in their calculator, it's perfectly, it's their birthday, or now it's my birthday. Now here's where failure thing comes in picture. Okay. This dot is only because we have enabled force on trigger thing as well, which is a backup. So now it's 695, and when I see a dot here, so all I have to do, none of the things will work. So if I type random digits in force mode, it will be same as this. Okay. So this is a backup. In case of any failure, you can continue with this. Okay. So if you turn off force after trigger, and I'll show you an example. So if I do 1, 2, 3 and I long press this, now this is a real calculator, like real calculations are happening, but when force mode is on, it stays as a force calculator kind of thing. Okay, reminder force thing. So you can use that as a backup in case of any failure. Okay, but if you think there might not be any failure, or then you can switch this off, and that will be even more cleaner, to be honest. So you can see that if you long press, it gets sent the reminder thing, and you can continue. This is a real calculator now, okay. So it's not something force or something of that sort, so you can use this as a backup. So coming on to another thing called final result. So this is a straightforward effect. So you do 1 2 3, you long press, 1 2 3 gets sent, okay. So straightforward thing, final result. Now coming on to simply send, this is one of my favorite features which was suggested by my friend Jay. So if I click on calculator, if I just go back, if I long press and click on simply send, and when I just do this, it simply sends directly, direct send, okay. And if I swipe here, it kind of deletes the last character, okay. Now in simply send there are two options, whether you want to send as it is or whether you want to send only when deleted. So and you can adjust the timer as well. So suppose you write 5555, or for example you write 1 2 3 4. So in swiping there are two things, okay. If you do this swipe, this gets erased, and when you do this swipe, this gets erased. So if you do this and do this, this comes here. If you do this and do this, this comes here. If you do this and do this, this comes here, and last digit it doesn't matter if you swipe this way or that way, okay, it goes. The problem with if you do a left to right swipe, what happens is digit go in reverse, which is not cool. Maybe you can use it for some routines or something of that sort, but it doesn't send actual numbers unless it's all the same numbers. So if it's 5555, it doesn't matter whether you do this way or that way, it gets sent, okay. So this is something which you can use to do visual effects, okay. This is the real calculator, this is almost a real calculator thing. So you can use this option, you can use the delay thing. This works in send only mode, okay. And as I mentioned earlier, put auto run as numlock so that it stays awake all the time. Okay, so I think I have covered most of the almost all the things in here, and one thing I think I have missed is send expression. So it sends expression rather than numbers. So earlier I was using this thing, but later I realized you can directly send the number. So this is something like send expression is something like of this sort. Wait, I'll just go to home screen. Okay, so send expression is something of this sort. So if I do 1 2 3, it sends as 0 plus 1 2 3, okay. Maybe you can think of something with this, but I have just left it off with that, so that maybe you can explore some option or some routine along with that. But I would recommend you to obviously use direct number rather than sending expression, okay. So this is all about calculator. Obviously you can trigger via watch, that arming thing, okay. If you remember, you can arm it and send it, and you can long press, or you can use the volume buttons, and it immediately does that. I don't think there should be any delay for that thing, okay. So see you all in the next video.